Hello everyone. Saturn is turning retrograde in the sky between the 18th of June 23 and the 3rd of November. I normally don't actually comment on retrograde transits, but I've had so many requests and I'm going to take the opportunity this time to discuss with you in a little more detail, bringing up some factors which you may not be aware of what Saturn actually does when he turns retrograde and how to make the best of this time. So if you're new to my channel, it'd be great to have you on board. Sub below, and if the video is helpful, give it a thumbs up. Let's go. The impact of retrograde Saturn, in a word: you've got to slow down. You'll be made to slow down, everyone, whether you want to or not. Watch for the roadblocks. Watch for the sudden decision that you can't make anymore. Watch for the sudden thing going round and round in your head. I'm not so sure about this anymore. Let me take a bit more time to think. This is what Saturn retrograde is all about. He's a slow moving planet, but when he goes retrograde, he's super slow and he's super impactful. He's like a ray of intensity in some area of your life. But this time, please note, he's not changing sign. He's still in Aquarius. So all the predictions I've given you already on my channel, on that video, Saturn Transit Aquarius, please check it out if you've not seen it already. The impact of Saturn right up until 2025 for your sign is still relevant. In fact, it's more relevant than ever because Saturn becomes super strong when he goes retrograde. But don't be afraid. It's actually extremely helpful for many signs. Saturn will help you to rethink so many areas of your life. Where you've been just about to jump into the deep end, Saturn will pull you back. Where you've just been about to start something new, thinking this is the right thing, Saturn will show you some of the loopholes, things like this. So it's a very, very good thing. When Saturn goes retrograde, take this time to rethink plans in your life. You'll be very glad that you did. Now, does all this slowing down and rethinking mean that nobody can start anything in their life? You can't get married, you can't start a business, you can't start a new job, you can't move home? Absolutely not. Don't forget, it's Mahadasha and it's other transits in your chart all combining to move your life forward. What creates the difficulty I've seen is that Saturn, don't forget, is the enemy to the moon, and the moon is the mind. So no matter where Saturn is transiting in your chart, when he's retrograde, he's super powerful to impact your mind, everybody's mind. And Saturn rules fear. So people get phobic, fearful, over-concerned, full of doubts. In some way, as I've just said, that's a good thing. You can rethink things, but you can get stuck in this loop of continually going over things. Relax and don't get yourself too stressed out. It's very important to be mindful of this. Another factor often seen about Saturn retrograde, because Saturn represents responsibility, hard work, and all the tough aspects of life. When he goes retrograde, anything you've been avoiding, trying not to have to do, putting off for that rainy day, suddenly hits you right in the face. You've got to do something. Saturn won't let you off the hook anymore. But the good news, he won't pressurize you straight away. He will just sort of nudge you that you've got to do something about it. So anything you've not been fixing in your home or any relationship issues you've been brushing under the carpet, Saturn retrograde makes you face the issue, and that's not a bad thing. See, only when Saturn goes direct again can you actually solve some of these issues. That's why they're coming up now. So you've got time to make the right decision. So don't allow yourself to be pushed into corners in any area of your life. That's the most important advice I can give any of you when Saturn goes retrograde this week. Actually, the biggest secret of all is that some signs according to where Saturn is transiting from their moon and ascendant are more likely to get into the negative loop than others. Let me show you why. Everyone knows that Saturn's transit in general, from ascendant or moon, wherever he is going to be troublesome. But There are certain houses, the 3rd, 6th and 11th, from the moon in particular, but also from ascendant, that are beneficial, where Saturn brings his blessings to you. And in the present transit of Saturn in Aquarius, everybody, there are 3 signs being impacted by this special blessing of Saturn. They are Sagittarius moon and ascendant, Virgo moon and ascendant, and Aries moon and ascendant. Or any of these signs, Sagittarius, Virgo or Aries, definitely check out the video on my channel about Saturn's transit in Aquarius to get the big details about this. What's the problem, you're thinking? Why is retrograde Saturn going to be troublesome when it's such good fortune in these 3 houses? The reason is because when he goes retrograde, he's been pushing your life forward, opening doors for you, and you will definitely see that manifesting over the next 2 years, all of those signs. When he goes retrograde, it becomes a great frustration, a real irritation for these 3 signs. Hold on to yourself and don't become impatient. Don't try to push through barriers if you are Sagittarius, Virgo or Aries. For all the other 9 signs, wherever Saturn is from your ascendant or moon, it's just as I've been speaking about. Have a break from the pressure. Saturn has taken the clutch off in your life. He's giving you a time to reassess, make the most of it. Now, a final important point. Look at your birth chart, everyone. If you have any planets at all between 6 and 13 degrees of Aquarius, then they're going to be majorly impacted by this Saturn retrograde period. Saturn goes retrograde at 13 degrees of Kumbh Aquarius, and he goes backwards to 6 degrees, and then he goes forward again. So any planet between 6-13 Aquarius gets a double impact of Saturn very slowly, very exactly. It's going to revolutionize what that planet is in your life. This backwards and forwards motion of Saturn in this way will iron out the creases of that planet in your life, literally, by the Karaka significance and by the houses ruled. For instance, if Saturn is aspecting Venus in your chart, if Venus is in Aquarius between these degrees, he will impact relationships, significant others in your life, maybe even having babies in your life, making new decisions about this. But here's the other factor. It also is important to see the houses rule. Say you're Taurus rising, it will impact your health. Why? Because Venus rules 1st house, body, and 6th house, health. So there's many other ways to judge, but one thing everybody should keep in mind, no matter what planet you have between these degrees now, remember Saturn is in his multicone sign. Whatever difficulty, whatever frustrations you go through in connection to that planet, it will turn out well, because Saturn in his multicone sign, as long as you are ethical, as long as you are being honest, truthful, above board, he will give you the right path. He will give you a good result in the end. Aries moon and ascendant, you're getting the blessings of Saturn up until 2025 as he transits your 11th house. But when he goes retrograde, you begin to doubt everything. The new confidence, the new direction, the new purpose in your life seems to be draining away, and it makes you a little bit anxious. Some of the workplace problems you thought you'd sorted out, some of the opportunities that you were going for seem to be eluding you, or the difficult stresses are coming back now. Don't get into quarrels with superiors, work colleagues, network circles, friendships. Just don't get involved in competitive or disruptive atmosphere. You are back on track after 3rd of November. So whatever you do, don't disrupt this forward motion in your life with temper tantrums or anger issues, which may come up as Saturn goes retrograde. Taurus ascendant and Taurus moon, especially from the moon, Saturn transiting your 10th house, it's a burden. It's hard to do the work now, and you are a hard worker, Taurus. You are absolutely like a bull, tired out in that field, pulling that plow round and round and seeming to get nowhere. Retrograde Saturn, what a blessing for Taurians. Basically, you'll just shut yourself off from all the work pressure. You won't be listening to superiors, listening to all the work stress. You won't be letting people put pressure, even yourself putting pressure on yourself. If you are a self-employed business person, wow, you've been just grinding yourself into the ground with your effort. it's time to take a break. What should you do? Put effort into the opposite house. Domestic improvements, changes, relax in your home, connect to your family, even travel. Whatever it is, take the pressure off the workplace. After 3rd of November, after reconsidering your goals, hopefully you will pace yourself much better. For Gemini, Moon and Ascendant, Saturn's been in your 9th house and continues until 25 in the 9th house. It's been stressful with your siblings, stressful with your father, stressful with education if you are a student. It's going to be good when Saturn takes a break from this stress from the 18th of June until the beginning of November. What you will do is you will seek solutions to these problems, solutions to the problems with family members, solutions to your difficult educational dilemmas, particularly students, research students, definitely. You will be redoing everything. Saturn retrograde makes you virtually tear up your thesis and write it again, literally, and it will be better than ever before. Some Geminis feel freed up from excess responsibility. Actually, you don't like too much responsibility sometimes. So during this period of 18th of June to 3rd of November, some of you may just leave a job, just walk out of the door. Some of you may decide that you don't want to do the educational course anymore and just leave it. You will make dramatic choices during this time. You feel freed up to do this. Saturn retrograde gives you that dramatic effect when he's retrograde in this 9th house. Cancer, Moon and Ascendant, Saturn in the 8th house hasn't been easy for you. Financial pressures, family pressures, job issues, health issues, they've all been coming up just out of the blue. You don't know where they're coming from. Thank goodness Saturn's going retrograde. It's a much more social time for Cancerians. Why? Because 8th house transit Saturn cuts you off a little bit, gives you so many things, so many sudden traumas and difficulties coming up, so much pressure on you, people making demands of you that you haven't got a minute to yourself. All of a sudden you are connecting to other people in a much more freed up way, connecting to your family, connecting to your partner, connecting even to your business partner. Maybe you've not been getting on with them. Finally, you have good conversations. Self-employed people make dramatic reshift actually during this Saturn retrograde period, rethinking your whole business plan, and that's a good thing. One thing you don't want to do, though, is make dramatic financial investment, stock market changes when Saturn is retrograde. You may be tempted to it, but get advice. This is one of the best periods for consulting experts in any field. If you've got a health problem, you will get good advice now. If you've got financial problems, you will get good advice. Advisors are definitely going to set you in a new direction during this retrograde Saturn period. For Leo, Moon and Ascendant, when Saturn goes retrograde in the 7th house, it's a blessing for you as well. It's time to have the conversation with your partner, with your business partner, close friendships sometimes if you've been having stressful difficulties. You see, Saturn is well placed 7th house, but by transit, particularly from the Moon in Leo, more than Ascendant Leo, he puts stress on you, gives you health issues, gives you so much pressure to perform that you really, even though you are normally confident person, feel unduly under duress. Some of you will get health concerns sorted out during this transit, get conflict resolution as well. Whatever you do, it will be because you finally are listening to other people. Saturn in this house demands that you listen, but he is enemy to your sun and you don't want to listen, you want to go your way. So listen to your spouse, listen to your business partner, listen to everybody. They have good advice and you will be feeling much less stressed when you feel more supported. So 18th of June to 3rd of November, it's a favorable thing because you are connecting heart and soul to other people, and this will give you more confidence for your future movement. Virgo, Moon and Ascendant, you're one of the 3 signs having the blessings of Saturn in Aquarius right up until 2025. Hope you've seen the video on my channel. If you haven't, the link is below to learn about how good this transit is for you. Getting on top of competition, health issues, difficulties. But when Saturn goes retrograde, it's like all the things you've been sorting out seem to unravel right in front of you. So like the other 2 signs having the blessings of Saturn, you'll become anxious. You'll become fearful, a little bit paranoid, thinking everybody's out to get you. Even some health issues come up again. Some competition, workplace stress comes up. Even pets can have issues during this time. Don't fear. Saturn is going to sort out whatever problems come up now in a miraculous way after the 3rd of November. What can you do now? Go into the 12th house. Take some time out. Go on retreat. Meditation retreat would be perfect. Study occult subjects, secret knowledge. Just take some time for yourself. And all of this anxiety will completely vanish. Libra, Moon and Ascendant. Saturn in the 5th house can be trying. A lot of responsibility on your shoulder. Not so much flow of creative factors in your life. It's like everybody's having issues and you are taking them on board. Particularly if you have children, they've been having many worrying concerns now since January. So thank goodness for Librans, Saturn is going retrograde. Saturn retrograde gives you more time to yourself to do the things you want to do, creative things that you love doing, creative, artistic, hobbies, whatever they are. Librans are extremely creative people, by the way. You've more time for them now. Enjoy them and indulge yourself in all your favorite hobbies and activities. If you are any sort of designer, artist, creative person, you will get great inspiration during this retrograde period. Because Saturn rules your 4th house of home, you can make domestic changes now. Some of you plan home moves, complete renovation of your home, domestic improvements, all of these things. You can make fantastic plans for these, the right plans, and carry them out after the 3rd of November. Scorpio, Moon and Ascendant. Saturn's going retrograde in the 4th house of your chart and it's a relief for you. The 4th house is your happiness, your home, and Saturn being here, he's put a lot of pressure there, especially from the moon sign actually. All of a sudden you're going to be relieved from so much domestic pressure. You're going to feel much more sociable, much more relaxed, connecting to people than you have been since January. You see, Saturn 4th house also puts career pressure on you. You feel that you're not happy in your career, but you don't know what to do. This is a time for complete reassessment of your whole life direction, but also it's a much more relaxing period. You will reconnect to your siblings, to your friends, to your neighbors, to your work colleagues in a much happier way now. Why your siblings? Because Saturn is also the lord of your 3rd house. So when he's in the 4th house, siblings may be visiting you. You will definitely have a much happier time because you're feeling less mental pressure now. Make good plans for your future. Don't be pushed into a corner by superiors or workplace pressure. Take enough time for yourself. Relax. You can revitalize totally during this retrograde period. Sagittarius, Moon and Ascendant, you're one of the lucky ones because Saturn in Aquarius right up until 25 is going to give you so much freedom of choice and so many adventures and new beginnings in your life. But when he goes retrograde, it all seems to be coming unstuck. Hold on tight. Between 18th of June and 3rd of November, you get super anxious. Saturn in this 3rd house is going to give you money worries. He's going to give you financial headaches, quarrels with your siblings, difficulties with your neighbors. All of a sudden, you'll think, I don't know what to do anymore. Everybody's getting at me. It's a very quarrelsome and disruptive time when he's retrograde in this 3rd house. What should you do? Take refuge in the opposite house with your guru, with your teachers, with your educational course, with higher philosophy knowledge. think high thoughts. Don't get yourself involved in petty quarrels and contentions now. After the 3rd of November, you're back on track to make the big positive changes in your life. Capricorn moon and ascendant, your Lord Shani is in the 2nd house and he's making you super worried about your security in life, especially from the moon. It's the end of your Sati period and you're still feeling super anxious about financial concerns. So it's good news for Capricorn moon and ascendant when Saturn goes retrograde. Creative ideas come to you. Business ideas come to you. You talk to your family more. You finally feel like you're in the driving seat again during this retrograde period. It's as though your fears are becoming groundless as you see things from a different perspective. Now, because Saturn is your Lord, of course, being in the 2nd house, he makes you very serious about your diet and about your health because he rules ascendant. Well, when he's gone retrograde, you'll be reassessing a diet, reassessing health regime, and it's good. Whatever you reassess about diet, health, exercise routine will be very well done indeed. So actually, you're going to benefit long term by the changes you think about making now. You could even start something, experiment with some new diet, etc. All of this will be helpful. What you don't want to be doing is taking financial risk because of Saturn's retrograde status opposing the 8th house of financial speculation, stock market, etc., making big changes to your financial portfolio if you should have one, savings, investments, pensions. Hold up. Take advice before you make big changes. Make the changes after 3rd of November to any financial situation for the definite best result. And this applies to business people most certainly. Aquarius moon and ascendant, you may be under Sati middle period if it's your moon, or if it's ascendant, Saturn is heavy in this 1st house. It's been very difficult, especially with partner. You've been taking on a lot of weight from your partner's problem, even some of you, and now it's going to reduce. When Saturn goes retrograde 1st house, the one thing you must do is take a break. You must maybe travel somewhere, go somewhere different, do something different, get away from your daily routine. Saturn 1st house puts enormous pressure on you, directly on you, and you need to get away from it. It's quite a good period for you actually, because when your Lord goes retrograde, you can reassess virtually everything in your life. New ideas come up from your subconscious mind now. New ideas come from other people, maybe partner, maybe close friends, business partners, which inspire you. Listen to other people now. That's what you're normally very good at doing anyway, and you will be inspired during this retrograde period. Take care of your health though. Don't neglect health issues. That's the one thing to be mindful of. For Pisces moon and ascendant, it's been heavy to say the least, hasn't it? Saturn in the 12th house. Moon, you're beginning Sati and feeling enormous pressure, feeling a bit isolated, cut off, alone, as though no one's listening anymore. Pisces ascendant, feeling so much work pressure and health pressure. It's just all been a little bit too much since January. But when Saturn goes retrograde, it is a relief to you in the 12th house. Some of the psychological pressure caused by this 12th house is relieved. You might have more sleep. You might have more relaxation. You might even travel. You will definitely become more concerned with your spiritual pursuits, and this is good. But as well as this, you will come out of some sense of isolation here. You will connect to your friendship network circles, colleagues in a much more open way. You'll be feeling like you've just lost a burden off your back when Shani has gone retrograde. It's a favorable time to reassess all the goals you've got, particularly health concerns. You've had some serious health issues recently because Saturn opposes 6th house. Now you can reassess them, have a new approach to them. Try out these approaches during this retrograde period. It's very helpful for that. And if you've had issues with your pets, small animals, Saturn opposes here as well. You can reassess those situations as well and definitely get good solution. Check out the full transit of Saturn up until 2025. It's up on your screen right now. Saturn in Aquarius. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to sub below. Goodbye for now and God bless everyone.